Okay, good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. So let's have a look. So quite low volume again overnight. So market is due to open any second. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. We got very close to all-time highs last night, and we kind of rejected off it. So let's just have a look. See how we get on today anyway. So. There is a second entry long there, but it's kind of around that midline. It's just hard to see where that's going at the moment. It may come down and clear this area out, but it's a bit choppy, so there's nothing I can really do here, to be honest with you. 1, 2, 3. You can argue there's a triple test there, but it's choppy. It's sideways. It's a bit too early to do anything, to be honest with you. So we've had a quick push down, cleared out any previous liquidity. If we can get a higher low above this, that might not be terrible. 1, 2, 3. That's interesting, that is. Was definitely getting some support there. It hasn't triggered anyway. So, Daryl, how you doing, buddy? So there'll be liquidity up here. It's hard to say at the moment. It's a little bit choppy, hasn't? So around about 96. There are sellers at about 96. Sorry. 55, 56, about 56, which is there. There are sellers there. So my guess is this may come down. I'm just wondering if there is a bit of a channel coming down there. It's possible. So there are sellers here. Let's see what happens when it hits those sellers. So 1, 2, 3. You may argue a triple test there. See if this thing drops. 1, 2, 3. Possible triple test. It's no good, really, is it? It's almost like a hidden. You could argue there's a triple test there. I don't think that's a bad trade, to be honest with you. But it's choppy, so it's a bit dangerous, I think. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that. This is more like a range for me, I think. It's very easy to get into something like that and then look all of a sudden. So let's get rid of that. This is more like a range. So my only slight concern as well is there is something moving up there. It's a bit early. Cleared liquidity there. There is a possible second entry short there. 1, 2, 3, triple test. There are sellers at about 58. 17 ticks. It's rather large, that is. So about 58, there are sellers there. If we can get a lower high, it might not be a bad option. It's hard to say, really. I think the safest bet here is just to sit tight. You don't know whether there's something like that, but we are finding a lot of support right the way along here. So you've got to be so careful. So that is a second entry short, but it's above that EMA. It's not a bad looking bar. I think there's a good chance this thing flushes down. But it was rather large, so it's just a little bit. I mean, it did work clearly. It didn't look too bad, but it was a big ass bar, and it's quite early. Beach Bum, how you doing, bud? I don't think many traders would have taken that, to be honest with you. Well, one certainly did. I think it's a bit too early. You never quite know whether it's going to trigger you and push up and there's something larger. But it worked anyway. You could argue it's a triple test, but it's rather large and it's a bit early. So it's a shame when it works, though. But it's just one of those things. It's just a little bit too early, close to the open for me. So I left it. Can't see. I see one trader took it, but I don't see any others. So once it got below there, it did work. Let me just take this a little bit higher. That looks a little better. So sellers at 57. Just can't take that. You don't know whether it's going to push back in or what. Trouble is, it is a second entry short, but it's above that EMA. Richard, how you doing, buddy? It is above that EMA, so it is a bit risky, that. And it is a big bar, tick above, tick below. It's a 4 3/4, certainly a 4.5 point risk. I think it's a bit much right at that midline, right in here. You don't know that it's going to drop out there, but what I will say is we're clearly finding some resistance above there. Lawyering up with a disclaimer. I put that on about 3 weeks ago, mate, to be fair. Someone mentioned that you should do, really. I did have one on there quite a while ago, but just I suppose it just covers your arse, doesn't it? Okay, so let's see what happens here. So we've definitely got sellers there at the top. We've got buyers at 40 down here, which is right down low. Now, there's no reason why this can't come down. So channeled, in fact, let me have a look at this. We've got a channel down with 1, 2 attempts to push higher. That bull bar has triggered. See how this reacts. Not what I expected. We've got a channel down there with a break. I was expecting that to trigger and to come down, but it didn't. So that's just the thing. It's still a little bit unclear. We've had a break out the bottom. Often we'll get one the opposite end. So it's hit them sellers. There are some about 63, which is up here. That's quite a strong move up, that is. So my guess is it may go a bit higher. Let me have a look. If I put that there and put that there, we've got a nice strong channel. So my guess is it's going to push above that bar and that bar as well. How you doing, buddy, anyway? How you doing? Wow, and it just dropped. I can only see one trader that took that. Let's have a look. Someone had missed it. Oh, a couple did. Wow, look at that. We hit the top and come straight down. Trouble is, it is a bit choppy, and if you get it wrong, it can sting, especially a bar that big. So we've got lots of buyers and sellers, if you look on Bookmap, all around this area, certainly above and below, and that makes sense that it's chopping up and down. Trouble is, we got this move up there and a drop. You could argue there's a second entry short there, but you don't know whether it's going to trigger you, bounce off here and push up to the top. When it's whipping up and down, it's really hard to judge it. You get it wrong and it can sting. There is a second entry short there. There's probably going to be some trap buyers there, but it's what is it, 17 ticks, tick below, tick below. It's too much of a risk, I think. See if it works. You're probably going to drop below there, but then are you going to put it? It's just so hard to judge. Just wondering whether I can take that down there a bit and move that over. That actually looks a little better for me. So we're struggling to get past here. So there are lots of sellers around this area. Let me have a look. So 52.5, there are sellers. So there's a possible second entry long there. The bar isn't strong. It'd be nice to see if we can break above it. Hit them sellers. We may come down. So if you look on here, possible failure, second entry long that's triggered. Trouble is, we are finding a little bit of resistance there. Okay, so have a look. Some sellers around about the 57, which is up here. There is a failure there. It's bound to be. See, I had mine around about here, so there could be buyers buying that. Uh, there is a failure there, but it's trading right in the middle of this, and that's dangerous. So it is a failure, but it's right around that middle, and you can get chopped up really easy. You can have stops there, you can guarantee that. So this thing may decide to push up. We are finding some resistance there, which is encouraging. Whoa. Well, that was a fair old drop. Not sure what happened there. I'm guessing there's probably buyers here. It's hard to say, isn't it? Well, the failure certainly worked. There's no argument that. I don't like trading right in the middle. It's the most dangerous place to trade, to be honest with you. So we've had a breakout of this. Most breakouts fail. That would be a higher low. Two legs down, higher low, triple test. I don't like taking these, to be honest with you. Jeffrey, how you doing, buddy? Tempting, but I'm just leaving it at the moment. Could have something like that. So we've got sellers there, and we've got some further down as well. So if we can get a second entry short at the bottom here, maybe trap in some longs. It's hard to say. Yeah, Dan just said about that one. Basically stuck in the middle, right in the middle. Two sideways. It did work. I looked at it, I considered it, but I just don't like trade. You've only got to get triggered and stopped out when it's around the middle. It does make it way more risky. So let's have a little bigger view of this. So, yeah, we're coming down at the moment. So we've got, where are we with Thursday days? So that's Wednesday, Tuesday. So we've got Tuesday's low down here. Just add a few more days to this. Most of the buyers are down here, so if we can get a second entry short, we've got a little break of this channel. If we can get a second entry short, I'd probably have a go at that. Whether we're going to or not is hard to say. Ben, how you doing, pal? Did you change your YouTube live settings when your live stream seems to be buffering many times? No, I actually I took it down to 1080p, so it should be super quick. Yeah, I took it down to ultra low latency. It's just 1080p now if I just move it on. So show you there. I think it shows you, does it? No. I'm just at 1080p, bud, so it should be much quicker. I don't know why, if it is doing that. I don't know why, mate. The only thing I can guess is it may be your end. I think it's buffering from me. Yeah, it might just be your Far East, aren't you? You're Asia, aren't you, Sean? So it may be your end, bud. We are expecting some really bad weather here. Where I am, we're expecting 6 inches to 12 inches of snow, a hell of a lot of wind. We've got a storm coming over from the US, I think, so thank you for you US guys. So, yeah, it's been a bit unpredictable. I thought that it's chopping around. It may now get out. So if we can get a nice second entry short, I'd have considered having a go at that. That didn't look too bad for me. Visually, it looks okay, but we hit the bottom and then rocketed up. I know things are tough at the moment. I watched Thomas Wade's last couple of days. He took 2 trades over the last couple of days, lost them both. That's unusual for him. He said it himself. Now, that's one of the things I like about Thomas Wade is he's not shy about showing his losses, which for me says a strong trader that's comfortable in his own skin. So I know things are difficult. I'm speaking, I get messages and chit chat with other traders on and off. I probably chat with a couple of traders every day. And quite a lot of people have not taken much. I know Dan's not taken a huge amount. Marco either. And it's easy to get chopped up if you're not careful. You've got to wait for obvious setups. But if we're not really getting many at the moment because it's choppy, the only option you got is just to sit there. And the longer you sit there, sometimes that can play on your patience. And that's where things can go wrong. Maybe it's only my end, but the strange thing is it's not buffering on other live streams. So you're telling me you watch other streamers instead of me? I'm hurt, mate. I'm hurt. I'm only kidding. He lost. Oh, was it lost 2 yesterday? Did it? You look at the second entry short again. I didn't think the short-term trend. Second entry short. Which one you on about, bud? You lost here. Could you look at the second entry short again? I didn't think the short-term trend was organised. Instant ban. Shocking, Sean. I'm ashamed, mate. I'm ashamed to know. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. You watch who you want, mate. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know, to be honest with you. When, Kirk, what second entry short you on about, bud? You on about that one there or something? Something here, or you on about something someone else? So channel break, new high. It's so hard to trade this stuff. Let me just kill that colour back a bit. The first second entry on the top. Oh, okay. Let me have a look. I don't know how he'd feel about me getting on. Just, do you know where it was? I don't know where it is. Let me have a look at it. Let me have a look at them. Let me have a look. I'll keep it quiet. I won't. I'll just find out where it was. I like the fact that he shows his losing trades. I think that's really important. So what you see is a guy that takes losses and a guy that's profitable. So it just goes to show, you know, losses doesn't mean you don't make money. Just have a look. So, channel break. Yeah, there's nothing I can do at the moment. There is a lower high-ish, but it's stopped at the EMA. You don't know whether it's going to push up for a second leg. You just can't trade this stuff at the moment. It's so, yeah, you just can't trade it at the moment. Mac didn't put anything on last night, but I had a funny feeling. Wasn't he going away or something or other? What's it now? Oh, yeah.
Traders, welcome back to our break session trading list.
Let's just take this sound down. Okay. I know the one he took. For me, it's congested, so I wouldn't take it. It's one of these, isn't it? Let me have a look. It's coming down here, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one there. I kind of get why he took it, the second entry long there, but the issue I have is that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars stacked side by side, and you know we've come off the top. So whether we do something like this is possible. I'd probably be more inclined that we do something like that. Maybe it's something like that. So this to me is a pullback. So we've got, or a break of it really. So for me, let me have a look. We've got a break of that channel. I mean, I get why he took it. It doesn't look like we had a break of that. But for me personally, yeah, I understand why he took it, but the bit that put me off straight away is 1, 2, 3, 4 bars stacked side by side. That's irrelevant about those two. He took the trade based on that. So I would have to wait there straight away, down, across, and down. So yeah, we've got something like this, and we've got a break, and there may not be a break of it, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. So I wouldn't be thinking about taking longs at the moment. So I get why he took it though. And a lot of the times it may kind of work, but if any type of congestion like that, I stay away from it. It does mean you take a few less trades. It's kind of the way it is. What was the next one he took? Okay, the next one he took was 2 legs down. I think it was here, wasn't it? No, it's too late. That wasn't it. I think. Okay, it was that second entry short. Now, I was looking at this and I left that one and left that one. I get why he took it. The issue I have with that is that I had it at 2 legs down, didn't I? I had it like that. Now, for me, we're not getting to the bottom here, which makes me a bit nervous. It's hard to say. There is 2 legs. I didn't like that, but the main reason I left that is, if you remember when I was talking about yesterday, we had cellars up here, quite a large amount of cellars. And then we have 2 legs up, and then it goes a bit sideways. Same again. It's a bit congested. So that's what I was looking for, a move down and a lower high. So I left it. I mean, it would have worked for a point, wouldn't it? I think Mac didn't trade yesterday, so he didn't mark it, but it would have worked. You'd have got a point out of it. But something about, I just didn't like it. But there was a second entry short. There was a lower high. That's why I like having Bookmap. If something looks okay, a quick glance on Bookmap tells me, am I safe or not? And I saw a large amount of orders, and that's exactly what it did. So it's one of those things, isn't it? So yeah, it's one of those things. So let me have a look. So we've got a channel break, new high, pull back to the EMA, couple of legs up, bearish bar there. Don't like that. It's not close enough to the tops, really. I always like, if I take, I'm not a massive range trading fan, in all honesty. But I'll take them if they clear any previous liquidity and we've had 2 legs up and then there's a nice lower high. Then I'll have a go at them. Let me have a look. Yeah, Thomas Wade's a great guy and a great. He is. He's a really nice, solid guy. He's very quiet. He just gets his head down and gets on with it. I like that. There's never any issues. He just gets on with it. I like that. He knows what he wants. Keeps his head down and going it. Samuel, we both mentioned. Yeah. 1 hour after the open. Yeah. Let's see on your chat. Would have been 5 or 6 hours difference. Yeah, we said we did look anyway. Could you find it? Yeah. My view is you don't really see a 3-bar trend. Yeah, there's some things about it I think that make it a little bit more risky. And that might be why. But sometimes trades will just work anyway. So if there's enough sellers selling it. But the nail in the coffin for me was seeing the sellers above it. Only watching one live stream at a time. Priorities, obviously. Thank you, mate. Tagster. I'm not taking any trades until I get out of this range. Yeah, good point. I mean, yes, it's a range, and yes, range rules apply. You can trade tops and bottoms, but when it's like this, it's a lot harder. I'm not a massive fan of trading these types of trades, especially when it's bounced. Sometimes it's getting down here, other times it's here, other times it's up here. The top is not looking too bad. But yeah, these are not my favourite conditions, to be honest with you. So having that attitude to wait there, I think, is a solid one. When it's chopping around, best thing to do is to leave it alone. And, that really does say a good trader, because unfortunately with trading, there can be a lot sitting around. And a lot of the time, that can be a real challenge. I know, because I've had it myself. So having that attitude to sit and wait patiently is a good one. The value of Thomas Wade trading calories unmatched. He's a nice guy. I like him. He messaged me about a couple of months before Christmas, and he said, "Look, I've got some." He's got a couple of. What were they? I think they were Take Profit Trader accounts. Do you want one? And I went, yeah, okay. That's fair enough. Nice of you. And I said, is there anything I can do for you? I said, what about if I put something on my screen, advertising you? And he said, yeah, that'd be great. So, he said, I'll get you an affiliate code. I went, forget the affiliate code. you've been good enough to give me that. I don't want to make money out of you on the affiliate code. I'm happy to do it. I think it's about helping each other. It's not always about money, is it? It's about helping each other. You know, I know a lot of YouTubers or streamers will rap on about affiliate codes and stuff. You know, my opinion is, and I've said plenty of times, if you're newish, just get one. I don't want you to chuck your money away. You know, it's nice to have the affiliate money, it is, but I don't want to do it at the expense of an inexperienced trader losing a stack of money, because I know what it's like and it ain't nice. So, you know, I'm a pretty straightforward, honest guy. I don't mess around. I don't take the piss. But yeah, I don't take many things seriously. So, if someone helps me out, as far as I'm concerned, is there anything I can do for you? You know, so I put something on there, and hopefully that might pass a bit of. But yeah, I think you can do a lot worse than Thomas Wade. He's a nice guy. Scare me, this stuff a bit. On the second entry for the after the suspected one, the whisker had reached up and contacted the bookmap seller level you had plotted, but were not completely absorbed. Price eventually went there. Yeah. I mean, if I see something that makes me a little bit of suspicious anyway, that trade made me a bit suspicious. I'm not a fan of second entries at the moment. I don't know why. I don't think they're as reliable as they may used to be. I then prefer the lower highs or higher lows, because that stops you getting trapped as much. And it may be just the fact that trading's been tough lately, and you only need to get caught out in one or two of them, and it kind of makes you a little bit suspicious. And I think that's just what's happening at the moment. So something about it I didn't like. It's hard to put your finger on sometimes, but you get these pictures in your head, don't you? And something just didn't feel right, so I left it. I trust my kind of that judgment, you know, that little voice in the back of your head. And it does make a difference, because experience, really, you can get a hunch and a feel for something, can't you, sometimes, but it's hard to put your finger on. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's proper choppy, this, isn't it? I will say it's working the top quite nice, but if you think about here, then up here, we came down and pushed back up before we dropped. So it is bouncing, so I'd certainly feel more comfortable at taking a short rather than taking a long. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be a second. Okay. It's all right. I stopped for a second and just looked at this, but as I say, now, yeah, it's bounced here, and it may well work, but it just makes me a bit nervous, that does. So let me have a look. So there are buyers there, not a huge amount, but there are buyers around the 41 3/4, which is there. So now there is a higher low there. There's always that possibility it triggers this, or it's that EMA and comes down. And there's also the possibility that it rockets up. The bottoms are even harder to judge at the moment, so I'm just sitting tight. And what I'm seeing there is at 50, or just a fraction over 50, are some sellers. So there are sellers there. So a second entry short there is risky. But I wouldn't go long here because there are sellers there, so I'm going long into sellers. So it's hit them sellers. Now let's see what happens. Are they going to get absorbed? Yeah, I mean, the trouble is, every time we come down here, we're hitting more or less a different level. And that makes me nervous. I considered it. I didn't take it. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. If I was on an evaluation, I'd have taken it straight away, no worries. But I don't mind taking more of a risk if I'm on evaluation. But I've got 20 accounts on the go, and if I lose that trade there, I'm down $4,000, and $3,500, $4,000. I'm not risking that on that. What I will say is there's going to be a lot of liquidity up here, and as we've had a break here, we could get something like that, leg and a leg. It's moving up quite strong. Shame though, isn't it? Look, so it has pushed up. I won't be surprised if that goes a bit higher as well. Leg and a leg. I'd expect that to get above there. So I can see sellers around about the 61-ish, which I'm guessing is above there. So for me, this will push up to here, certainly above there. It's a really strong move, that is. So I'm looking leg and a leg. So that's triggered. Let's see what goes. Mind you, you may argue there's a bit of an overshoot there. Maybe a bit of an overshoot. So maybe, I don't know. I hate trading this, to be honest with you. Thomas Way's trades yesterday were not good entries, both in congestion. Just stay away. Yeah. It's the first thing I said as soon as I saw the one. It's congestion. You got 4 little bits of bars stuck together. And the second one, I looked at the second one and I considered taking it, but I left it. And rightly so, because it didn't work. So let's see if there is an overshoot here. So sometimes that can pull back a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, I can see sellers up here at 60 and 63. So for me, this is going up. You've got liquidity up here, and that'll go. I'm pretty sure of it. So you can see there, 52.5-ish. So there. So there's sellers there, sellers there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when it gets into this area. So we've had a small breakout at the bottom there. And I expect one here. So I think this will go higher. So here we go. Push up. There we go. Okay, so that took any liquidity out there. Hit those sellers, and there are some a little bit higher. For me, more likely push up and hit those sellers as well. So we've got a leg break. Now, that may just be slightly wider. Maybe it is. But there's our break. Hit the first sellers. Hit the second sellers. Now let's see what happens. So break here, leg and a leg. Often we have a break out the bottom. We have one out the top or vice versa. So now where's it going to go? Lad took that failure earlier at the middle of the range. That one there, this one here. Yeah, it was a second entry long. As I say, I don't think it was a bad trade. The only issue I have is whenever I've taken trades in the middle of here, it can get you into trouble. But it is a failure, and it is dropped below there. And to be honest with you, I had a little bit of sideways, and then it did drop. So, as I say, I considered it. The only bit that put me off is that it was right in the middle, and that always unnerves me. And it is a bit choppy, so I got trust issues when it's doing that. So, yeah, I looked at it. I remember saying it's a failure. The only bit that put me off, if that was a really strong bulb. Now, I've heard Vlad say once he looks for a really strong second entry long to trap traders with the failure. And for me, that bar wasn't strong. But then we did have another one. But for me, you know, it's always good to trap traders, isn't it? And I can't see many traders going long there, to be honest with you. So if I take failures, I like it to be a really good, solid trap. But another thing I'll say as well, how a trade works and how well it pushes down, I think is an indicator of how many other traders take the trade. So based on that quick move down, I think there'll be traders taking that. So I ummed and ahed about it, but the one bit for me that put me off was the fact that it was right in the middle of this chop, and I just had a bad experience. Yeah, Lance, it's into, yeah. Sometimes it's irrelevant, you know, what you do or what you say. Sometimes they just work. But it is, you can clearly see it's chop. And the more you see that chop, I think the more cautious you are. Now, that cautious obviously can manifest itself in you holding back maybe when you may have a go, you know what I mean? But on an evaluation, 100% I'd have taken it, because I don't mind taking more risks on an evaluation. But yeah, I mean, that's Vlad's speciality, apparently. So he's pretty good at it. I mean, he's pretty accurate. I mean, he goes for 2 points, so he'd have been out of there. Well, we had a little bit of stalling, didn't we? It took a bit of heat, but eventually it went kind of close to him. Yeah. It's so hard to know what to do here, really, isn't it? But after that big, strong push up there, I expected it to go a bit higher. We often see that pattern, don't we? Leg and a leg. Now, where's these sellers? There's more sellers up here than there are down here. So for me, it's more likely going to go up. So let's say 64.5 is where the first bunch of sellers are, about there, which is just above those highs, which you'd expect. And there's some more around about the 68, which is right at the top, which again you'd expect. And there are some just before 70, which is just above this area here. So there are a bunch of sellers all in this area. So for me, it's likely to go up. Now, we could get a small pullback or a couple of legs before it goes up. We have got some buyers at 57.5, so it may 57.5. 7, that's down here. Okay, so yeah, we've got some buyers here, which you'd kind of expect, and then sellers up here. So for me, it's more likely going to go up, but it may have a quick 1-2 before it does it. Surprised to see that fell second entry over 10,000 for the first time. Not sure what you mean there, Ben. Good morning, sir. Is your indicator EMA, SMA? It's EMA, bud. It's the 21-day EMA. 21-day. It's mine is part of Pat's. Yeah, it's the 21-day. It's part of Pat's. You can just, you know, they do an EMA here. I've had it before. There it is there. So you can set it up yourself, but I just have it as part of one of Mac's things. You got 2 measured legs up, so I'd be declined to think it's going to try to fade. Absolutely, it's broke about the same area. The only bit that's making me nervous about going short here is I can see more sellers in this area, which for me, it's more likely going to go up. So it just makes me be a bit more cautious. So I can see a guy that shorted that lower high, and that's where his stop is. The only issue I have is look how many more sellers are up here, and we know this acts as a magnet. Now, that doesn't mean if aggressive sellers like this and they just decide to hit the sell button, it won't come down. But my guess, it's going to push up to at least here. So, Thomas Wade has changed that to that, which means we're in a break. So you wouldn't want to go short anyway. So it has gone above there. So that guy took the trade. I don't know who he was. That guy took the trade, just got stopped out. That's why Bookmap's so valuable. Sellers at 65. Can you see them sellers at 65 there? There are some buyers at 60, which is there. What's that telling me? It's more likely to go up. If it comes back a bit, there's going to be people buying it. But for me, it's going to hit there, possibly higher. So the guy who took that short there, the lower high, there we go, woof. So there's definitely sellers there. There's no arguing. I knew there would be anyway above there, but we got a channel break new high, but then it just rocketed. That's why Bookmap's so valuable, because you can see that there are sellers up there. So always, pay attention to that if you're thinking about going short. If there's not many sellers up here, then, then go ahead. Big slug of orders at 53, 65, and 66. Yeah. There are buyers at 60, which is fair enough. But that tells me if people are willing to buy, this thing's more likely to go up, not come down. Now, I'm not saying it won't come down. It may start to work down now or soon, but I can still see sellers up here. If it pulls back, there's people willing to buy. So that's going to push it up. Plus, it's got that natural pull towards those sellers up here. So that's why I'm kind of sitting tight. So you may argue there is a bigger channel down there, and there's the new high. It's a possibility. Thomas Wade, it always does things wider. That's just how he trades. I tend to keep things a little bit smaller, and I'm assuming it's made a new high. So I think you took that second entry for 3.5 points. You went long, did you? Didn't look bad on here. I wouldn't have taken it personally because it is a bit congested. It was a doji bar here, so that didn't interest me. So, I mean, for me, it's just I just sit here until something looks right. Yeah, until something looks right. What I will say is seeing those sellers up there, that can help you make the decision to go long towards them, especially if you think you're trapping shorts. But this price is just, it's unusual for Thomas Wade to take 2 losses in a row. I can't remember the last time he does that. That just goes to show that markets are choppy and a bit trappy. But you've got to be even more on your guard when it is like this. I mean, we are getting volume through. The thing is whipping up and down, but it's a bit dangerous. So let's see if it gets up. So that orders there are 67.5, which is there. Is that a bit lower than that? Yeah. That's gone. So I think this is going to push up some more, certainly to here, possibly break the highs. There is some at 70, so for me, it's more than likely going to go higher. So the beauty about that is if I was thinking we've had a break, 2 pushes to a new high, some traders may short there. But because we got these sellers up here, I wouldn't. So CL chart, leg down, a few attempts to go higher, but look at all that. If I took that trade and it didn't work and I showed you guys, what would you say? Well, it's congested, isn't it? Look at that. Doesn't look any more congested than that. I mean, yeah, it worked. I'd probably expect it to, but it just doesn't look pretty, does it? So, as tempting as it may be sometimes, always best. If there's something not right, you just got to let it go, I think. So, still some buyers there. So, if it does pull back, there are traders wanting to take this up. And there are sellers all around this area. So, with the buyers here and sellers up here, that tells me it's more likely going to work up. So, we are going a bit sideways. And why is that? Buyers, sellers. So, we're in this little vortex, well, this little tunnel, aren't we, of being pulled up and down. So, there is a failure there. Actually, technically, it's not really. There's the failure, but you could argue a higher. I'm staying out of this. Because we're right in the middle of buyers and sellers, so it may have a quick flush down before it goes up. See, Thomas Ways just mentioned break new high, would consider a second entry, fail second entry long. My concern is we get one, because I still think prices will push up to the highs there. So it gets below that EMA, there are buyers down here, see? So if traders are trading this to go short, they may get trapped. So there is a possible second entry long there. But we've got buyers at 60. So I'd like to see that level get hit, which is below that bar there. There'll be some liquidity there. So I wouldn't take that. Buyers there may work, but you could, well, that might be that failure that Thomas Wade's talking about. I don't know whether he has a second chart. It's not playing out on my main chart. There is a second entry long, but it doesn't look like it's going to trigger anyway. Now it's triggered. Now, if you look at 60, a lot of those have gone. They are still there, but there are some that have gone. So second entry long, this could be the failure. There's going to be liquidity down here for sure, and there, which we haven't broke below. But to be honest with you, between there and 60, where the buyers come in, we've got nothing. Even if I take it down there, there's only 2 points. So I can't do nothing here. I've just got to leave this. If I take a short here, it's got to go down there. That's too far for me. I don't want to take a long either at the moment because we have got buyers here. So, and it is a bit choppy in that, isn't it? So, okay, so it is moving up. But with those buyers here, there's going to be liquidity along here and down here. So that often will clear this out before we push up. And if you if you look at this as a bit, oh, well, there we go. Look, if you look at this as a bit of a range as well, take it along there. It's kind of right in the middle, and you're looking like you're going to get punished here. So how far did that go? So you'd have got a point and 3/4, maybe 2 points. Point and 3/4, I think. But this is getting dangerous now. So Dan takes 1 loss a year. Thomas Wade takes 2. Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know how right that is. I don't know. But he does go for 6 ticks. I think Thomas Wade goes for 10 to 12, I think. So he does go for more points. Uh, Definitely getting our fair share of chop this week. I mean, it started off choppy as hell. Yeah, that's the only one I looked at, actually. The one someone said Vladdy took. I get why he took it. I don't think it was the worst trade in the world. The only bit that put me off is because we're in the middle of this, so sometimes that can. But if you're reading the markets right and you're trapping longs, then or shorts, whatever, then if you know what you're doing, you can take these trades as long as you're confident that what you're looking at is right. So we're clearly going sideways here now. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever heard of a trader only losing 1 a year. I mean, what does he take? Probably a couple of trades, 1 to 2 trades a day. I'd say 8 trades a week, maybe. 10 weeks, 80 trades. You'd have to take 300 trades a year. So one hell of a win rate. I mean, you just never know, do you? People say a lot of stuff. You don't know how true it is. I'm not saying, I'm not saying for a second. But he does go for 6 ticks. So, but I mean, that just goes to show how accurate price action is if you get good at reading it. I mean, I don't know how true that is. I'll be pretty confident, though, he doesn't take a lot of losses. That's for certain. So, leg and a leg. 1, 2, 3, triple test. Would I want to go long gear if it breaks below there? I don't think it's the worst trade in the world. Because you've got sellers right up here. It would have to break below there, and you may go 1, 2, 3, triple test, and it has at the moment. We've got a doji. There is a guy in the Facebook group called Ninja Scalp. Swears by 4 ticks. He said last May that he hasn't lost a trade like that in a year. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. And I'll tell you the reason why. When you're a more experienced trader, you'll get away with it more. But as a newer trader, you'll just get crucified. So if you remember, maybe 12 months ago, Matt came out and said, if you can only afford to trade 1 to 2 contracts, you've got to go for more points because the numbers don't work. He actually said that himself. Now, a lot of times it's not unusual to risk 4 points to make a point. But I look back maybe a year or so ago at Matt's charts that he'd marked. And over the space of 2 weeks, I think I noted he'd marked 105 trades and 102 of them would have made 2 points or more. So going for 2 points instead of 1, you're making 100% more profit. even if it works one in 5 times or 4 in 5 times, you're still going to earn more money. So for me, I just can't. But I know there are people who do it, so I wouldn't say you're wrong for doing it. But for me, can't do it. Usually get 2 legs in one direction. The price starts. What's that? Recording last night, 30 minutes. Bracket in the bad second entry decision. Can't it? Sell it. I'm buying. What's that? Recording last night of the 30-minute bracketing. 30 minutes bracketing the second entry short. Great decision. Can it? Sell it. I'm buying here. Those occasions, 20, 30, 40 point runners required 4-tick scalp to watch. Yeah, I mean, trouble is, I only do one contract, so it's not really feasible. I could go on to micros and do it like that, but I hate runners, to be honest with you. I just don't like them. I like to get in and out. And talking to Vladdy before Christmas, he phoned me and we had a chat on the phone. He doesn't take runners. He goes for a flat 2 points. I think 2 points is the starting point. That's for me personally. And I don't say that willy-nilly. I've been through the numbers. And from 1 point to 2 points, you're making 100% more. So even if you lost every third trade, you'd still make more money. Because you're making 100% more. So do you know what I mean? So for me, but everyone's got their own idea of trading, their own risk and their own opinion. And I'd never say anybody's wrong. If something works for you and you make money out of it and you're happy with what you're doing, don't let anybody else tell you you're wrong. That's my opinion. That said, I watched Mac's review and he marks 12 to 15 trays, but I can see them in real time. Good for beginners, won't tell you. No. I mean, it was something I watched the other day and he marked, we had a channel down like this, channel down, and he marked a second entry short there, but then we hadn't had confirmation of a downtrend. But if you look at a chart at the end of the day and you can see it's had a downtrend, you'll mark the trades up here before it's been confirmed. You can see that at the end of the day. You can't see it when it's happening in real time because the trade at the end of the day is already formed, so you can pick off the setups. But when it's not confirmed and it's not fully formed, it's hard to make the right decisions. That's the only gripe I have with Max, to be honest with you, because he does show that there are a lot of trades to be taken, and there simply isn't in real time. And that's the problem I had. I mean, I don't know how many times I was frustrated because I was thinking, why am I not seeing as many trades as Mac? So for me, it's hard to watch that and to give you, a good positive feed. Vlad lambasted me looking at my chart and said, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, well, should I send $9,000 back to Chicago? What was I just going to say? More open about losers. It would be, yeah, that was it. It was talking about, you need to talk about losers because Mac's teaching traders from complete beginners, more or less. So you need to talk about losses. It's something he's always avoided, and I don't know why. And I think when you're teaching someone to trade, you have to discuss losses. Mac might not take many, but he's not, he knows what he's doing. But when you're teaching inexperienced traders, you have to tell them losses are part of the game. Disco, how you doing, buddy? Love when Mac marks a trade off trend and a range wouldn't be established. That's exactly what I was saying. If you're, it's easy to see a channel down and to mark trades on the way down, but until that channel is valid, you can't see what it's going to do. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can see what it's going to do here. So he may mark trades here, and here before the thing's even valid. I don't, for the life of me, know why he hasn't sort of thought about it. Why? I don't like, I'm not saying nasty things about Mac. I think he's a nice bloke. But we can agree to disagree, can't we? It's okay to have opinions. It's hard to trade this stuff. It's just chopping up and down. A lot of these setups up here, a lot of these orders that were up here are feathering out a bit. There are still some at 70, so there are traders saying if it gets up there, we may have a crack at that. But it's, I suppose, the more it does this, the more you think, oh, let's just leave it alone. What's your advanced trade and making money? You don't need to watch. No, you don't. I mean, I watch Mac's video just out of curiosity because I want to know what he's got to say. And I don't know, sometimes in the evenings I'm bored. And, I like to keep tabs on what he's done. Is he seen the same thing as me? Sometimes if I've taken a trade and I'm interested to see his opinion, what he thought about it. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to see what. So we've got 2 legs down here. So how do I feel about this? But yeah, when you get I think I think a lot of it is because there's so much in the way of failing when you're learning to trade. It's very hard to have that confidence and self-belief that you can really do it. And I think sometimes when you see Mac mark a trade that you took, it gives you that little bit of confidence that, okay, he took it or he marked it and I took it. So I think a lot of it is to do with that, I think. We all like a bit of a confidence boost, and trading for me, certainly by a million miles, is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I have asked myself many times, am I ever really going to be able to do this? Because when you've blown over 1,300 evaluations like I have, it's very hard to believe you can actually really do this thing. And it's a very slow process that you eventually start to get there. But there's so much, am I really going to be able to do this? Am I just not cut out for it? Am I not the right type of person? There's so much shit that goes through your head that, those self-doubts that come in. So, seeing we've got some sellers here around about 58. If we get a pullback here, a couple of legs up, I'd probably have a go there. That, to me, is broken out and failed temporarily, but now it's pushing down. So my guess is it's probably going to find its way down. So if we can get 2 little legs up, I don't think for a second we're going to get them because they just don't seem to exist so much at the moment, but we can live in hope, can't we? Would be nice. I want to go to the bathroom again, but I'm too scared to miss out on the trade. I've stuck a bit of weight on over Christmas, so I'm just eating a bit better now and drinking water, but it sends you at the bathroom quite a bit. So we need a little pullback here. Let's just get an order up here, just in
Order
case.
submitted.
You can see those orders there are about 57-ish, which is around about there. So if we can get a couple of little legs up, who knows? We may get lucky. Let's just look on both charts as well, just in case one looks better than the other. It's just going to move this up a bit so I can get a little bit better view of it. So much of the time now it breaks and just drops. I'm still shaking the rust off. Probably traded 20, 30 days since July at the end of December. Work's been too busy. Yeah. Your works and that's got to come first, isn't it? You got to earn a living, obviously, haven't you? I've noticed Mac loosening up. Yeah. Here's talking a little bit more about. So what I do like is he's been showing a few losses. I like the fact that traders are sending some losses because I think that's valuable. I think it's good for people to send in losses and say, why didn't this work? And then he explains a bit. You get into his head a little bit better then, don't you? Okay, so there are buyers at 55, which is here. That's gone up a little bit more than I was expecting. Sellers at 62. Let me just get rid of this at the
Order
moment.
canceled.
Sellers there. See, there's almost like a break and a new low in one there, so okay, see if we can get some kind of a second entry short here. It's always that possibility. That wouldn't look terrible, would it? So I'm not saying it is, but if we can get maybe that something looks like a nice second entry short, I'm busting for a PA. I don't want to lose just yet. It'd be just my bloody luck if we get a nice setup now that I can't take. The trouble is there are some sellers appearing up here, which is a bit high for me. So it may go up a bit. We need to get some real rejection now, close below that EMA. I don't think this is going to work, to be honest with you. Let's put that there. Drag that up now. This is going up a bit, I think. Okay, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be a second. Okay, so let's have a look. So these sellers are starting to appear up there, around about 67-ish, which is above here, and then up to 70 again, which is there. So maybe this is a failed breakout. It's gone down a lot more than I would have expected. Is there anything like that? Maybe. Who knows? So sellers up here. So bulls seem very strong. Bears cannot push. Yeah, it's not getting far, is it? I was just looking. If we can get a second entry long here, we may get something up. Because there are sellers up here. There is actually a failure on here, second entry short, that's triggered. But there's not much room to the top of it. Second entry short failure. I don't know. Second entry short triggered, come down the EMA, pushed up. So it's, I mean, there's sellers up here. There's bound to be stops right the way along there, but unfortunately, I don't like how far that is. It's come up to the top, and turned down a bit, and pushed back. So you don't know. I'm just not a fan of going long into support like that. I'd much prefer a couple of legs down, then at least I've got a little bit of space, so I can make a bit of profit and then get me stopping early. Let's see if. Now, I would expect that to push higher. But we got to have another leg down for me, and I just don't think we're going to get it. But there are definitely sellers up here. If we can get a couple of legs down, there's enough space. Come on, come down. So, second entry, short stroke, lower high. If we can trap some sellers there. So what I will say is there are buyers at 60, which is kind of in the right place. Come on, come down. Buyers here, sellers here. It's frustrating when it just doesn't get down. But what can you do? Come on, come on, have a little break. Trouble is, we've made an attempt to push higher already. There's going to be a hell of a lot of stops there. So a little failed break out of here wouldn't be a bad option.
Order submitted.
Okay, some buyers at 60. We're below there, which is interesting. I'd like to come to 60. There's not a huge amount. We have broke below that liquidity there. Let's have a look at this. Don't diddle in the middle. There's the middle. This is at the bottom. So let's see what happens now.
Order cancelled.
You're short, are you? There's nothing on this. There is. It's kind of a bearish bar there. It gets so close to stopping it out, and then just not got nothing fantastic. Now there's bound to be some support here, but there is a failure there. Second entry long failure, but I'd like that to push up a little bit first. It's too far from that EMA for me, unfortunately. There are buyers at 55. Wilson, stop it a minute. There are buyers at 55, so do I really want to short into that? Some support there and there. It's too far from that EMA for a start. It may come down. It's quite shallow though, so it's just. So I mean, really, you could bring that down to there, couldn't you? Let me change this color a bit. It's freaking me out a bit. Magenta. So, in fact, tell you what. Shove that out of the way. That looks a little better. So, pretty accurate down the bottom there. So, I guess that's why there are buyers down there, because we bounce, and we bounced a bunch of times. So that actually looks okay to me. Trouble is, there's not much room to the lows. That's the trouble. Okay, so channel break new low. See what happens here. We have got buyers down here. So where's the low there? That's at 275. We have got buyers around that level there, which is at that low. Trouble is, this thing's just bounce. It starts in here, we drop out the bottom a couple of times, then we drop out the bottom again, then rock it up the top. So it's quite untrustworthy. Just when you start to maybe think, okay, you start to get some kind of regularity, it pops up into another little range. So I don't think there's any kind of channel there that may. It's a bit broad, really, to trust something like that. So we're just going to have to sit and wait and be that little bit more patient. I've got to say, this patience of mine seems to be going on forever at the moment. So there are a chunk of orders there. Let me have a look. Just below 55, in and around that area, around there anyway. Those are lows, I think. So I think it's probably going to come down a touch more. Trouble is, if you do let the patients get the better, it can turn out to be a loss. So you can sit here patients for days and days on end, and then if your patience goes just a bit, it can end up a loss, and then you've got to sit there for another length of time, then just to kind of take the next trade, which is maybe going to get you back where you were. So I think you're always better off not to take a trade than to take a loss, unless you believe it's a good setup. Then obviously, taking it's okay, I think. 52.5. We've got buyers right below that bull bar there. So I couldn't take a trade here if I wanted to. You can argue it's a triple test. We've had a channel break new low, but with those buyers down here, I'd have to just decline if that went bullish. Okay. Tick below. Okay, so there's some buyers there. Let's see what happens now. So we took out that low there, 2 legs down. But you never know, this thing could come tumbling down. So 2 nice legs down. Maybe something like that. Looking for a second entry short now. Yeah, same here. There are some sellers there. If we can get a couple of pushes up. It's clearly just ranging, is it? We seem to be working in this area, then working in this area. So where do we go from now? So I know there are sellers there. What I will say is there's a higher low on there, so it's always nice to trap some of those. So let's get an order up here
Order
just in case we
submitted.
get something. 67.5. Sellers there. That's kind of a nice area, that is. I always like buyers below price, because that helps pull things down, but there are some buyers around 52.5 as well. That makes me a bit nervous. Buyers there.
Order cancelled.
It's not the easiest of days again, is it? So we seem to be back in this little bit of a range here again now. Got Bennett. It's too broad, isn't it? So big strong move there. I think it's likely it's going to push out the top as we've had a break there. So very choppy. I mean, chop, 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 chop. The only one that I did look at was the failure there. There's another one that didn't look terrible, that one, but it's when you can see it moves, it's very easy for Mac to mark a trade like that, but you don't know where there's going to be another channel. That's the trouble we have, see. Okay, so trying to hold that line, yeah. So far it's held up, but how long for? Still got sellers at 70. Uh, there is a second entry short, but the bar's just a doji, so who knows where that's going. Trouble is, as we've had a breakout, often that leads to one at the other end. So for me, it ain't going to go much further before it clears that whole top line. I can't really go short here. I can't go long either, although I think it's probably going to go up a bit. But how far before it snaps back? Here we go. So bull bar there. Now that's more likely going to trigger, and that should make it hit that, I think. Uh, okay, excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. I had a parcel collection. Okay, let me have a look. What can I do here? Bum, bum, bum. I mean, it's clearly struggling, isn't it? We've had a... So, let me have a look. There are some sellers around about 60 cents. I don't bloody know at the moment. It's hard to know when it's shopping around like this. Sellers up here, not much in the way down here. This could go down, but it could go up. Who knows? Channel break, new high. Possible failure, we'll see. Okay, there is kind of a second entry long. Just don't want to go long into that. So, possible failure. Trouble is, we've had a break out the bottom. Often we'll get one at the top. Trouble is, there's that one bit of liquidity there. Does that mean it's going to come shooting down? Who knows? Bar's no good, is it? I just didn't like the bar, to be honest with you. We've pushed past that liquidity. Is this definitely going to go down? Who knows? Yeah, it is. If that was a bit better, I may have had it. The only trouble is with that is there's liquidity there, yeah, but once we get below that, there's not much down here. So it just makes me nervous. When it's whipping back and forth, it does make me nervous, I've got to say. And when we've had a break out the bottom, obviously, quite often we'll get one out the top. And that's another reason that concerns me. Couldn't get below the EMA there. Eventually it did, but Yeah, Dan never took anything here. It was a bit congested. Thomas Way doesn't either. Yeah, some people say consider the lower high, but then the bar snapped back. It didn't close below it. It's just one of them things, isn't it? Can't take one there. Yeah, we're at the bottom, but we're in a channel down there. I'd expect a break and a new low. So there are some sellers there. I just wouldn't consider selling there because if you do, it's right in the middle. I mean, you don't know whether it's going to push right to the top. Grab shorts and push to the shop to the top. Nothing you can do. Excuse me, sir. Okay, channel break. Ordinarily, I wouldn't mind something like that, but there's just nothing I can do here, really. I don't want a 21 tick bar into there. That's just pure madness. May come down. I don't bloody well know. But I'm not risking 23 ticks. Not a chance. Straight into support. There were sellers there. That's why I put that there. But it was more out of curiosity. I don't see how you can take a short for 23 ticks right into the bottom there. Yeah, that's the key though, but maybe finally going down. You just don't know because it's just the one thing we can say is respecting the top here quite well and here, but you never quite know if it's going to go down or it's going to bounce because you can see the bottoms. It's all over the bloody shop. So it's hard to say. I don't see how you can take a long there either. Yeah, it's bounced twice, but we haven't made a new low from this yet, so you don't know whether this thing's going to have a quick drop out the bottom. It's hard to say. Pure madness, right up your alley. You're short, are you? Uh, I'd like to see it make a new low, but shorting into there for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not so. It's against my nature, really. Definitely finding some resistance. So we've got a doji now. Look at that. That's a toss of a coin now, whether it goes up. This will be a lot to do with buyers and sellers. Okay, there's more aggressive buyers at the moment shooting up. So my guess is this may push up. There's going to be an awful lot of stops there, but I'm not saying it's going to get up there. I'd say I probably favour short, but I wouldn't take it because I just couldn't go short into there. But based on what I'm seeing, if it's a battle, it's more likely going to go down there. But it's just too risky. And not like that. 20 odd ticks. Screw that. trust the bottom a lot less than I trust the top, put it that way. It was just nothing up here, it's just congestion. You can't take that in my opinion, it's just sideways. I don't think I've seen Thomas Wade trade as of yet, which doesn't surprise me. He took 2 losses yesterday, which is unusual for him, so he's probably extra cautious at the moment. It's definitely difficult. You know, conditions are way more difficult at the moment. They are. So you don't know whether this is going to push up or whether it's going to be a bigger channel down. No idea. There are buyers there. So how far did that go down? So you squeezed 2.5 points out of it. It's just too risky for me. It wouldn't have worked for me. Well, I mean, we haven't pushed up there, but it's just too risky going short there, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's kind of the nature of it, isn't it? You'll hear people say that they've won a trade, but no one will say they've lost it. Yeah, I think it's more detrimental. I think really, it's same with the Facebook group. So many people don't mark losses. Trouble is, everyone thinks then no one takes losses, so sometimes you can feel a bit inadequate. So channel break, new low. So only ever when he trades online. It's just kind of the way it is. I think people think it's a weakness or something. They don't like to do it. I think the opposite. I do. Unfortunately, you guys get to see all my good stuff and bad stuff. There is a higher low there. There's going to be a lot of what's it there. I don't think that's a terrible trade, to be honest with you.
Order
It's quite
submitted.
large. That's a slight negative thing. I actually don't mind
Order
that.
submitted.
There's going to be a hell of a lot of stops there, I think. It's a little bit more than I wanted to risk, but there's going to be a ton of stops there. Go on, push up. It's not going up as strong as I'd have liked, put it that way. Go on, just get above there, it'll get easier then. Leave that where it is, I think. Should get to the top, hopefully. Famous last words. Go on, get up there. It's that close to the top now. I'm not my feeling, my concern is it's going to snap back a bit. I don't like it when it does that. Let's get out of here for 100. In fact, no, let's just leave the damn thing. Let's leave it where it is.
Order
Let's
filled.
just get out for $100. Closed, is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm not willing to risk it for that. Let me just disconnect a minute. It's showing that there's some aren't. What's it? Disconnect. It's just struggling a bit there. I'd rather take something than nothing. So I got a quick 100 and I get 2.2, something like that. Let me just log back in a sec. It's just struggling a bit. So just for the sake of a few ticks, it's not worth risking it. Got channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new low, higher low. It's probably going to work, but every other time it's gone up pretty quick. But it seems to slowing down there, and I don't want to risk. What am I? 1, 2, 3 ticks. So 2.1 points. That'll do for me. Especially when it's going sideways. It'd be a shame to actually give back the profit. So after fees, $2,170. So it's better than a kick in the teeth. It's going sideways now, so it would be a shame, wouldn't it? So I mean, you never quite know what this damn thing's going to do. So at least we got something, for God's sake, anyway. So it's just a little bit higher than I would have normally took it, but it's a good strong bar. And for me, there's going to be stops there, so it's not going to do that and not break above there for me. Unfortunately, it would have been nice if it closed a bit lower, but look at this now. So I did the right thing getting out there. So what did I get? 2, 3. So 2.25 points. Higher low. Plus 2.25 points. Yeah, it's not willing to take a risk just to give it all back or at least to lose it. It's nothing worse than that. I gave it a bit of time, but it did start to struggle. So on that, you just never know when it's going to come and tackle this. So I think I made the right decision to get out there. Nothing worse than to give it all back, especially when I haven't taken a trade. Let's have a look. ATR, it's not too bad at the moment. It's getting very close, isn't it? So I made the right decision there. I'll be kicking myself now. See, it really didn't shove up as much as I thought. It shoved up strong, shoved up. We did have a bit of a pullback. It may hold, but it just ain't got very far, has it? So I'm quite happy to take some profit there. I'm going to say every other time it's got bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, 3/4 of the way or 2/3 of the way up. I thought you can't move your stop. Yeah, I've got rid of that. I did have it locked. I've got no issues with stop moving now. I'm not interested in doing any more. It's stupidity. I've completely gone the opposite way from there. I haven't moved my stock for a long time, to be honest with you. When I say move it, actually move it back and give it more space. I haven't done that. But no, I just don't do it anymore. It's not worth it. You just got to leave it. You leave it, you make money. You move it, you blow accounts. Not interested anymore. So the good thing is trading loads of accounts. See, 2,700 and 2,100. It's over $2,000 after fees. So you don't need. I mean, if I did that 4 times over a month, that's nearly $10,000. You don't need. Haven't taken anything yet. You haven't. Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy at the moment, is it? It is a higher low off the bottom. We've got a channel down there with a break and a new low, and it's pushed up. It's closed, come back, touch there, and it's pushed up above that EMA. So for me, one of the most important part was the stops for there. It didn't push up as quick as I expected it to. So if I got in there, is a 0.5. So what did it get to? So it would have to push through. So I think it was a 0.5 there. So I lost a tick there. So that's much better, to be honest with you. When it started pushing back up there again, I'd have been shitting myself. I'd have been panicking there. But when it pushed back up, I'd have got back out of it there for break even +1. So I was expecting a bit more of a shove there. So 2.5 and 1.5. I was expecting a point shove there, which would have given my profit. But then we had that little break and a quick drop. It may hold. We may get we've got a channel there with a break, so may get a second entry long here, leg in a leg. I don't know whether I want to get back into this thing, so I'm quite happy to make $2,000 profit for the day. It's been shit lately, so no sense in risking it. It's once, twice, 3 times. It's struggling to get up. And it is choppy. I think if you can get a trade on a day like this, you've not done too bad, I don't think. Speaking to Vladi a week or so ago, he just takes 1 trade a day. That's it. He goes for 2 points. So I've got 2.25 off that. So I'm happy enough with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that does push up to the top. It's holding quite well, and that would be a second entry long. May work. It's probably going to work, but it's not what I would call a great trade. So I'm just sitting tight here. I mean, you get a leg and you get a leg. That's going to take us up to the top, but it's instantly coming back down anyway. So I'm just staying out of this today. I've got my bit anyway. Tick chat. You know, it's funny. A few years ago, I started looking at, I think it was 1,000 and the 1,500 tick chart. And you know, like when we have a break of a channel and we have 2 legs down, sometimes it'll just move up on the 2,000. But if you drop down a bit, other times you'll get a higher low. So, and as Max says, you can trade price action any time frame. So if you're finding sometimes on the 2,000 tick chart, you know, we're getting them. I mean, for instance, we pull back to the EMA and it came down. Now, going short into the lows, not something I want to do anyway. Fortunately, you'd have got a 0.75 or whatever it was. But a lot of the time, it's only kind of a first step. Now, you can argue that's a failure anyway, but there's the failure, really. But if this was at the top, then I'd have jumped all over it. But sometimes, though, if you only get 1 leg, if you change to 1,000 or 1,500, it's broken down. Sometimes you do get 2. So, I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. Is that a triple test to go long? It's probably not a terrible trade, that. But I'm just sitting tight. EMA's flat as a pancake. My guess is it's probably going to go up, but I thought that a minute ago. And then we came down some more, so nothing I can do. What time are we? 2 hours. Took a trade when the signal bar was 4 points and the ATR was 2. I deemed it worthwhile. For me, that was important. Miss Karina, I don't know where she is. Well, the ATR's 2 3/4 at the moment, isn't it? So it's not too bad. A lot of people use a guideline of what the ATR is. I got 2 1/4 points. The ATR's 2 3/4. Penguin trades on the 500. He does, doesn't he? He is. He's a really talented trader here. I mean, we've come up off from below the bottom. We got a higher low. What I like about it is come back, touched that, and pushed up. It's probably going to make the full amount. To be honest with you, if it's a strong enough position, usually it'll hold. Oh, absolutely. He's a great trader. I mean, his chart reading ability is second to none, isn't it? He doesn't make videos though. Well, he probably does, but he does it on his on his website, doesn't he? He doesn't make videos on YouTube anymore. I've spoken to him a couple of times actually. He's another nice bloke. I did say to him, I don't know why you don't live stream, mate. You'll because a lot of the times he records when he's in a trade anyway. So I said, why don't you just live stream? He said he considered it, but he's got too many other commitments, so I don't. I did say if you live stream, I'll watch him myself. Yeah, I was really surprised that didn't continue on higher. Channel break near low. We did there. There was a higher low there. And then eventually it went up, but it hasn't done as yet. I think I'm going to knock on the head there, actually. I've got to go shopping. And we're expecting a shed load of snow any time, so I'm going to get out before it happens, actually. It's very hard to trade start if you... Yeah, there are some straightforward stuff. I've tried it a few times myself, and there are some straightforward stuff which seem pretty straightforward, for want of a better word, but there is a bit more technical stuff to it, isn't there? It's like anything, really. Any strategy that you follow, there's a learning curve. It's applying it to the correct context of the market. But it's weird. When I started doing a little bit more Pats, all I was seeing, a little bit more Penguin, all I was seeing was Pats trades. It's crazy, isn't it? So, yeah, I'd have got stopped out there if I'd have left that in. Fortunately, I had plenty of opportunities to get out, but we got to push up. EMA came back, touched the line there, big strong move up there. I liked it. How far actually did it go for? So it went for 2.5. So it got 2 1/4, which is what I got. Where exactly did I get in? So actually, I got in right on the nail. I got out a few ticks. So I got in right there. I got out there, yeah, 2 1/4. So fortunately, I got in. Yeah, tick above there. So it would have to push through, and it went up to 2 3/4. So that's exactly where it got out anyway. So as soon as we had that bar, I was and ahhing about putting mine to break even. Now it didn't come down apart from me anyway, but I got out 2 1/4. I always usually go for 3 points, but when I saw this, I didn't expect that. Every other time, it's gone up strong. Even here, we had a small pullback, then it took off again. So every other time, it's bounced off that line, especially after a break as well, channel break, 2 pushes to a new low. You expect it to take off, but it didn't for some reason. So rather than, hold on and risk and lose 4 points or whatever, I got out for 2 1/4. So I'm pleased with that. Sometimes things turn out a bit risky. It's just one of those things. Will Mac mark that? It's hard to say. I'd say possibly. It certainly went for what he was doing, but every indication said that was going up. I mean, you may argue that there's something like that. It may have had a break. It's possible. Who knows? But the point is, I don't dwell so much. It looked okay to me. It was a higher low off the bottom. It's kind of what I look for in these days. There's not really much you can do there. There was a lower high there, but I didn't like the fact that it dropped below the EMA and then pulled back. Otherwise, I may have had a go at it. That one, it pulled back, touched as support, and then finished on its high, so I deemed it was worth a go. But hey, what can you do? So there you go. You didn't like that trade. It's funny. Although there are trades, we take trades, there's still a lot of discrepancy between one trader to the next. It's just one of those things, you know what I mean? It's just one of them things. There you go. See, a few people looked at it. So Thomas Wade said not in the zone today, so he skipped the higher low. Was waiting for that. My higher low was a red bar. It was okay for me. Skipped it as well. Solid higher low. So there's mixed feelings. Some people like it. Some people don't. Someone took a second entry long off the. It's a slightly different chart, isn't it? Higher low, second entry long. So, it's one of those things, isn't it? You don't have a lot of time to think. You got to make quite quick decisions. So it's one of those things. So I'm going to knock it on the head there. So finally got something at least. So we're expecting a ton of snow tonight. So I'm going to get out and I've just got to pop out and pick up a couple of things for dinner. And then that's it. So where are we? Wednesday today, is it Wednesday? Oh, it's Thursday today. Oh my God. Nearly another week done already. So I'll be back tomorrow. So if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. Otherwise, have a great evening. Stay safe. And we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.